in between rounds, we've got 2 decks to play. Unfortunately, Hollow Vine is again relegated to the backup deck, but I just keep building decks I'm more interested in playing. So this is an Affinity build that's kind of focused around Giant Craft Helm / Docox Tentacles. It's a 1-mana equipment that says whenever a creature you control with mana value 5 or greater enters, you can attach this equipment to it. So in this deck, when a Kappa Cannoneer, a Thought Monitor, or a Quantum Riddler enters, you get to snap this on there. What's cool about this too is when you're making such big creatures, all of a sudden Synthesizer Labship gets a lot more appealing to me. Where if you're snapping this onto a Quantum Riddler, I guess even wait, is this station? It's station 9, yeah. So I thought it was exactly enough. I guess it's one short of making this immediately online, but you could station your Labship a lot faster. And Labship is a card that I have liked. It's really good with the Urza Saga constructs, of course. And this is a card that is just like very, very powerful to be a 1-mana 4/4 flying vigilance that can turn other things into little flyers when you just get to station it once. And so I'm also pretty interested in going in on the Phenomena Recorder just in general in Affinity, where you can copy the Tezzeret activated abilities, Tezzeret Ultimate, Thought Monitor ETB, Quantum Riddler ETB, Saga Activation, Saga Trigger. In addition to just being a good 1-mana artifact, which is really critical, of course, in your Mox Opal Thoughtcast Thought Monitor deck. I also realized 2 other things here. That most of the Affinity builds that have been so in on Pinnacle Emissary, I think a big reason why they're failing, or have been failing at least, and maybe they're more primed to make a comeback, but in my opinion, they've been doing pretty poorly, is that you have to build your deck in such a way that like your Pinnacle Emissaries for them to be really powerful and for you to have your nut draws, you have to be really, really weak to the sideboard cards. And so I also realized that when you get access to all of these extra cheap 1-mana artifacts, you can move away from Imri, you can move away from Tamio, you could just move into actual artifacts. You're much more resilient to removal. You get to like really cleanly play 4 rebukes in the main deck. You get to even play Quantum Riddler in the main deck. And it does come at the cost of not playing Pinnacle Emissary, I think, which is of course a really, really strong card, but I think the rest of your deck gets to be just like greatly strengthened. It would be cool to play a 3rd Riddler. I think 2 is an okay number to start with. Riddler, just like you dump your hand pretty well, and so you get to draw the extra cards, which is nice off of either your just normal draws or your Thoughtcast Thought Monitors. But one thing you could do too is you could warp the Riddler, slap a Docox Tentacles on here, and if you have Lavaspur Boots off of Tezzeret or Saga, you could just attack before it goes away from warp. So you have a little bit of scam elements too. I decided to not play the Flicker equipment, the staff. It didn't play very well last time we tested it. Could still be right to give it a couple more reps. There's also a card that some Affinity builds have been playing. It's the Web Slinging Counterspell. It's either 2 mana or 1 blue, and you get to return a tap creature to your hand to counter a triggered ability, a instant spell, or a sorcery spell. I wanted to play that card, but of course, because we're not playing Ornithopter, we're not playing Midnight, we're not really in on the Springleaf Drums, this just did not feel like a good place to actually have that card in the sideboard in the main deck. And this is also a really good Metallic Rebuke deck, because you just have so many 1-mana artifacts that can just be sitting in play, especially with the Tentacles. So I don't know. I know a lot of Affinity builds I've had a hard time getting excited for, but I'm definitely excited for this one. Devoted Druid, Vizier of Remedies combo comes to mind. Typically, these decks do really poorly because they're 3-card combos because you need the infinite mana then to pay off, and they're really fragile. We're going to keep this on the play. I think I'm going to put back the 2nd Thoughtcast over the Kappa Cannoneer. And I think I'm going to lead on the Saga, because if we just don't draw a cheap artifact for the Mox Opal, we're going to really have wished we played this turn 1. We might get a Tentacles here. We'll see. We also have the upside of like drawing a Mishra's Bauble to make a Saga token turn 2. That would be cool. Yeah, Brutescale Blade is the better infinite mana combo. That's true. We draw a 1-mana artifact, we can cast the Thoughtcast. Okay, we should have put back the Thoughtcast. All right. I could copy the Saga ability with the camera next turn and get 2 things, potentially. Tentacles 5-0. Hey. Is you blanks, or? Ooh, Grixis. So you have Inspire as your extra payoff. Yeah, I'm just kind of scared to build it like this. Like, I mean, obviously Tentacles is like an interesting new card, but it just hasn't seemed like these builds have been performing super well. They put a Blade of the Blood Chief in their hand here. We draw a Mishra's Bauble, maybe too little, maybe too late. I'm not main decking a Pithing Needle. Let's see. So if I copy this, I get 2 1-mana artifacts, and then this is tapped. It looks like I won't be able to Kappa Cannoneer. Instead, I could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just play a Kappa Cannoneer. Which seems to probably be the move here. Casting the Thoughtcast is a little greedy, but what I like about casting the Thoughtcast is if I draw a 0-mana artifact plus land, I could get Lavaspur Boots and then haste, maybe. I think that's probably a little more greedy than I can stomach, but I think I'm still going to cast the Thoughtcast to try to find either... Oh, well, this might end up being a blessing in disguise, but... I thought we were likely enough to draw a land or a a 0-mana artifact that it was okay to cash it in. It's I think 15 plus years ago, Woman of Watsi who dated Ember Minawatsi is an unset card that changes control based on who won more matches. Okay, that's fucking crazy. That they did that to her, right? You really have Spy that made it by Parker Luck deck? No, I guess the sideboard not import correctly. Okay, well, we should have played the Kappa Cannoneer. The Cavern of Souls is pretty brutal. They've got a Brute Scale on top. I think we're going to game 2 here. Let's bring in the Dismembers, we'll bring in the Pithing Needles, we'll bring in the Consigns. Consigns, I think, are enough better than the Rebukes that we could maybe play like 1 Rebuke, but I think we're mostly going to be trimming down a lot. The Shadowspear is really nice to get access to Trample, but I think we have enough evasion with the Kappa Cannoneer and the Thought Monitor to not need to lean on it too much. We can cut the Relic, although sometimes it is nice against Emrakul. I think we can cut the Aether Spellbomb. We cut a Labship. I do kind of want the second Rebuke. Maybe that's not necessary. Maybe it's too much interaction. I think maybe second Rebuke's better on the draw. Let's do this on the play. I'm gonna fix the Parker Luck Mox field list. Should be right. Let me make sure it's right in the on Magic Online too. Just yeah, looks like they're not in the main deck. Okay. On the play. Is it the PT streaming? I don't think it's started yet, but I mean, if it was, what do you have a question or what? Tormod's is good for slowing down Emrakul. I mean, is it good for slowing down Emrakul, or is that like kind of the only thing it can possibly do, and that's not a very effective use of a card, right? Have we discussed Bitter Blossom Beater? It's a leak, so I don't like to talk about leaks. What about Parker Luck deck with Domain Scion Lane? We've played that. You can play the Leyline Scion package. I think one really nice thing about Parker Luck being a black card is that your Witch's Cottages just play a lot smoother than they used to. And so I was pretty interested in trying to maintain that dynamic for whatever that's worth. Being the Gruul Spider-Man that gain counters equal to the return creature's mana value. Yeah, I mean, I read the set. I think that card is not very good. It's close. It's one of those cards that seems like it's kind of close to being playable. It isn't quite playable. Let's not consign this trigger here. That was the Plastic. Do you feel like this is support K command? I would not play either K command in the deck, but the deck is feeling good. Anyway, Haywire Mites. They play the Saga turn 1, so like this Stone Rain effect I do think is kind of valuable against them here. Another Saga. They go after my Citadel, is that right? Okay. I think it makes sense to go after over the Opal because you can strand that in my hand. I think with my card draw, I should play the Otawara. Would be nice to draw a Thoughtcast or Urza Saga. Okay, so we can copy this Bauble with the Recorder. I guess we could sign this. Oh, it's a Saga token, sure. We got a temple on top. Wizards released official spoiler. Okay, if you link me to the official spoiler, I'll take a look. When I saw the spoil cards about 12 blasts with luck or Ugin's Lab, I couldn't find the list for it. So the problem with Parker Luck plus like as like a normal calibrated blast build where you just have a bunch of high mana value is this reveals the top card of your deck. It doesn't reveal until you hit a spell, and that's a really really critical difference, right? The Vexing Bauble, interesting. Okay, we draw 3 cards, counting the draw step. Cannot quite play the Kappa Cannoneer this turn. Can play it next turn. Simply a 1/1 Bitter Blossom with flash for black. Okay, so it's a 2 mana flyer, black flash, and at the beginning of your upkeep you lose a life, make a fairy, and it itself is a fairy, I would assume. Gets a blood from the helm. I know the art is so damn. I don't understand. Yeah, well, this is this is the official. This is the like someone took a picture of the screenshot. Of the like the at MagicCon Atlanta. It's a fairy rogue, flash flying, give your upkeep, you lose a life and make a blue-black fairy token. Or to get very excited for this, I guess. You get a little bit excited for it if you wanted. You know, the card Bitter Blossom is very bad. Simply put, it is not a good modern card. Okay, so we can immediately station this Labship here. Next turn we can camera this to get another flyer. So if assuming we draw an artifact, we're gonna have 9 plus 4. I guess 10 plus 4 is 14 plus 4, so not quite lethal. What about Spellstutter? Spellstutter Sprite is the only good fairy in Modern. Bitter Blossom sucks. This card is not clearly better than Bitter Blossom. It has some advantages, right? Being a flash creature is really cool, so you can hold up your counter magic and deploy it if your opponent doesn't play something relevant. I think that is relevant. It is also a 1 toughness creature in the Lava Dart Goblin Bombardment Orcish Bowmaster format, which is pretty tough. I think that this card is like so unlikely to make a splash in Modern as long as like Boros is playing Goblin Bombardment is maybe would be the biggest thing. But like, you know, you compare this card to Ocelot Pride, it's such like night and day too. At first glance, Ocelot Pride was bad because of being a 1/1. Well, Ocelot Pride is half the mana cost. Ocelot Pride can make a token the turn it enters the battlefield instead of needing to untap. Ocelot Pride can even copy all of your tokens the turn it enters. Ocelot Pride has better stats. I think First Striker is better than a flyer. It's like, but like half the mana cost, triggers immediately, gains life instead of loses life, better stats, better color. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? More of a Pioneer card? Yeah, probably. 1 on top, 7 on the bottom here. Can they cast an Emrakul? It might be good with Ocelot Pride, right? I did see that Goros is the most played deck. I'm a little surprised. I thought Goros would be like 2 or 3. I thought for sure Boros would just be the most popular. 4/4 Ballista, so that for lethal, okay. What if it was also a Fairy Lord? What if it also Stone Ranger Poe? I don't know. It isn't. It isn't that. it isn't that. What's a what, right? I'm just not so sure that they think a lot about Modern or are super in tune with like how to design cards for Modern these days. We watching the PT Hero now. This is not like an explicit watch party, but in between rounds of the challenges, we'll probably tune in. The thing is, the problem with the PT and like my usual schedule is I like to play the morning challenges. I have a lot of things and tasks I try to accomplish after my stream ends, and because like my time zone, I'm usually like when I'm live, they're still playing limited. And I'm not that interested in covering the limited portion. And usually, like, the challenge is wrapping up, or we're done, like, way early before they actually get to the Modern. So, we could tune in if it's there, but again, just not a explicit PT watch party. Hey, Shane, good to see you. Card on top. So we can't quite Thoughtcast this turn. Seems like they're thinking about forcing the recorder to keep me off Metalcraft. Why do I stream in the morning rather than the afternoon? Well, to some extent, I've always had this time slot. When I was working IT, I worked like a later shift so I could come and work on the computers after a lot of the office workers had left. So I could stream for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning and then go into work. And so to some extent, I like maintaining this time slot so I can keep hanging out the people that I've been hanging out with for all these years. But also, okay, maybe throw a big hasty thought monitor at them next turn, although I'm worried that they're Neoform. But also, I'm just kind of a morning person. I like to get up. I like to do my day. I like to take a break, and then I like to get back to work. You know, I don't open X-Links, Claudio, but that's good. I'm also not that. I know you might be sad to hear. I'm also not too excited to open a Pioneer link. All right, do they have the Neoform here? Matchup should be pretty good post board with all the forces and rebukes and wait, I guess the Vexing Bauble didn't make it in. We should at least have a Grafdigger's Cage, honestly, over one of the crypts. We do have this Aether Spellbomb in play. I think it's kind of funny. They have another Galta, though. Another Galta is kind of what you don't want to see. Into Xenagos, which is especially what you don't want to see. So maybe punish for not leaving up the Aether Spellbomb. I have been liking the Harbingers against them, too. I think the Riddlers are going to be hard to tap out for. I think we trim a Tezzeret too, especially bringing in the Harbingers. I thought you were from EEUU. I don't know what EEU is, but I'm from Dallas, Texas. Cast a creature spell, make a human citizen. Interesting. Does Infinite Life live, or does Infinite Life win in Pauper just like really consistently? Also, are there not enough wait, is Mox Amber not legal in Pioneer? All right, hard to mulligan turn 2 rebuke on the play. Even said in Spanish. Oh cool, I didn't know y'all did. So it's just Estados Unidos? I didn't know that was abbreviated that way. You mean Pioneer? I do mean Pioneer. Yeah, sorry, Pioneer. But yeah, is Mox Amber? Yeah, why not play Mox Amber in like the all legend deck? This is 2 vowels, you double them. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, I took a lot of years of Spanish, but I guess we never went over abbreviations. I really want to brush up on my Spanish a lot next year, and then take a trip to Chile mostly, but maybe another country. My brother-in-law or future brother-in-law has a lot of friends in Colombia. It seems like a card that never does anything. I mean, that's interesting. I would think it would be great in the deck, but it's interesting that it's not, especially because you could like loot extra copies away with Rona. It was really good in the modern version, I felt yesterday. It's like really nice with Halia specifically. Like it just like you can like literally draw a card turn 1 with Holly if you go like Halia, Amber, Zach. Peru is right from behind me. Yeah, Peru would be really nice. But yeah, I need to brush up on my Spanish some. I think my vocabulary is like okay, and then my grammar is really bad, just like in English. We've seen this version of 4-color Cascade. Let me see. Interesting. Don't really know why this card's in the deck. You play the fourth. You can play the 4th Omnath instead. I guess you get the ramp. Maybe that's relevant. Okay, so some early removal. It's a little bit weird to have like Crab Abomination. Like your mana is just so much worse. You have a double black card and double red and blue green. That seems crazy. You know what, maybe I'll just make a Saga token. Not get too fancy. Station the lab ship. Get a Mox Opal. Like I don't want to play the Harbinger into the Misty Rainforest. It's a basic island. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't understand the Crab Abomination. I don't really understand I really dislike. Yeah, you have 1 2-mana black card, and so your fetching gets like really nauseating. The Kellen seems weird. You only have 2 Stone Rain guys. You're down on the subtleties, so you have less early interaction. It's just, I don't know. It's not really working for me, I guess. The Slaughter game seems really odd. Creeping Corrosion over Force of Vigor. It's this could be a free spell in your deck that like kind of starts playing Magic on turn 3. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Synonym with the Twitch Prime? No, I've not seen Ice Steel Brood Scale, but I have been wondering if you can play it. Young Wolf? Alright, well, so see if they have Neoform plus double protection spell here. Slaughter games on Belcher, given its popularity, I can kind of get it. What if you're on the draw? Or, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm too critical because it is just 4 mana to win the game against them. There is that, but I don't know. It just seems not very reliable. Yeah, I can force this. So I don't know. I want to be too dismissive, but I just don't really understand any change in that 4-color list. It just kind of seems like everything I dislike about what you could do with the build. It's just like slower, like lower card quality, grindier for no reason. I can camera the Labship trigger next turn for lethal. I don't need to do it in this turn. Yeah, Balustrade Spy is 4 mana to win the game, but it's Slaughter Games being uncounterable matters a lot. 1 copy of Windgrace in the Cascade deck just to have way of dumping excess lands and really leverage Riddler. You don't think that deck leverages Riddler well? It's like I don't know. I'm not interested in playing black cards in the 4-color deck unless it's like I think the 1 Murderous Cut can be the exception. because like most Elesh Norn decks are not attacking your mana, and it's like the only good answer to Elesh Norn. But like Soul of Windgrace is a pretty low card quality card. Your deck is really good in the late game. And I at the very least, like we could just have this dialogue tree. Okay, they saw the Harbingers, so I think I'm gonna go cut them for game 3 on the draw. We don't have to have this dialogue tree every single time. If your suggestion for the Birthing Ritual deck is I want to raise the mana curve to make it grinder, you're allowed to do that. I'm not going to be interested in this change. I'm not going to be interested in playing black cards in the main deck and making the mana base worse than it already is. If that's what you want to do with the build, that you're totally free to, and you might be right, but we don't need to keep having this conversation every single day. This build is really weird though. I'm kind of into it. Second, another creature to destroy non-land permanent. When it dies, you may just gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard. If you do, exile this. Okay, that card's kind of sick. So we have Force of Negation up on the draw. If we draw a blue card in the top 3 cards, that's probably going to be a keep for us. Aren't they going to board and land after you beat them by once? Well, I also have 4 Cleansing Wildfires in the board, so I don't think we should be too worried about that. Also, like, you just get to play a little bit of variance, which, I don't know, sometimes fun. I wonder if I'm supposed to copy the Bauble draw with the recorder. We'll see what happens, but we'll just at least wait on the Bauble crack. The point is that we're already run Riddler. Why not make that our only late game instead of the deck being a full of late game? Okay, I'm trying. Let me wrap my head around this. Okay, the point is that we already run Riddler. Why not make that our only late game instead of being a deck full of late game? So I guess I don't understand why you think that playing Soul of Windgrace is like so powerful with Quantum Riddler that this is like something that we should really just be trying to do. And why like another thing too is like what is your end game with Soul of Windgrace Quantum Riddler? You're spending mana to discard lands for 2 damage. This is a format full of Belcher and Goryo's Vengeance combo and Neo, like we're playing against Neoform right now. We're playing against Amulet Titan. Like this is not standard where games are just so like games are not normal in Modern. Games are really weird in Modern, and it's like trying to just be like, okay, on turn 8, I'm gonna discard 3 lands to kill you. Is not a good strategy in this format. Good strategies usually involve like that's why the Charballs and the Hellkites are so good, is because against Belcher and Neoform and big mana, you just kill their land so they can't do anything, and then you attack them to death the next turn. So it's like it just seems to be like a gap in the logic somewhere. Ron's with 27, Rob with the 42. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's copy the Bauble ability. Neoform on top. Another Rebuke is interesting. Do I have double Rebuke up? I don't, right? The drawback in answering viewer questions, people come and go. We have to relitigate so many things. I agree that's the drawback, but I am like sincerely interested in helping y'all get better at Magic, and sometimes you'll help me get better at Magic, and we can all improve together. I'm really interested in it. I think these conversations are productive. I like engaging with them. You got that wrong. The point is, if we dump all the filler, the late game can just be turbo through pitch spells and be really interactive. Oh, holy shit. What the hell? Okay. Blue, I'm trying to engage. Stop gifting 20 subs. Rather than having you play cards that get stuck in your hand. So in the build I'm playing at the moment, I already have, like, when you say max pitch spells, we're already playing Force Subtlety, Force Solitude. You can't play Force of Negation without losing Bloodbraid Elf, which seems tough. Like, what cards do you consider to be filler? Bleep Bloop, thank you for 20 gifted subs. Let's go! I forgot to gift this stuff for Bleep Bloop. Make sure to thank them. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Yes, boss. Thank you. Thank you. That is sick. I'm not very good at my my Twitch streamer. pog face, but I do appreciate it. Articus with the 5 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So one thing I could do here is I could copy this trigger. I'm mostly doing this because this is cool more than it's good, but then I can get a drum and then I can make a Saga token. And then I can get another thing and I can have Rebuke up still. Not that that was particularly good, but just kind of a cool thing. Once I guess I should be watching the channel, and it paid off here. Get Harkus the 5, Blame with the 60. Thank you so much. And Daya with the 5-pack. I guess y'all getting it in at the end of September here. Thank you so much. I do love you guys, and it's awesome I get to be here every day, and I'm excited for this challenge that's starting in 7 minutes. And now is a good time to send in some deck techs if y'all want to send any decks. Do you think it's probably the right play? I'm just gonna. This game is lost if my opponent knows what's up, but they might mess up, so I'm just gonna let them do their thing on the other monitor. We can kind of consider this match lost, though. I'm not claiming it's better, but for what it's worth, holding Surgical also plays around Summoner's Pact. I mean that's true. That's true. I think it's a very tough spot to be in, kind of no matter what. Of course, I'm open to believing I made the wrong choice. Could you use the window playing portrait coverage as my hand hider? People tend to hate the motion capture. It also is probably too much to set up midstream, right? Yeah, glass cannon, but we double discarded them and wildfired them and surgical the and they the infinite combo be on turn 5. They mill over a K return and they find a land to put in their hand here. How does waiting play around Pact? Yeah, I guess that they just get the Analyst, although just getting Analyst isn't deterministic. But if they Pact, you can Surgical Titan in response. We got 3 artifacts right now. It goes quarter by Saga. 3, 4. Pass back. Treacherous Urge. Black instant. Target opponent reveals their hand to put a creature from the battlefield under control. Creature gains haste. Sack at the beginning of next end step. I mean, that card is really sick. Never seen it before. Hey, do I copy the draw 2 from the Thought Monitor? Seems kind of good. Am I allowed to co-stream the PT? I am. I'm not like planning on it. I just have like a lot of things to do, and you know, there's official PT coverage, and I kind of just enjoy being a casual viewer of the PT myself, instead of having to feel like I'm doing. Okay, my opponent has figured out the line over here, so I'm gonna concede the challenge match. So I might grab Lavaspur Boots. Okay, that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do have to play the other Opal. Might as well save these for next turn, right? I did miscount. I thought I could haste the Kappa Cannoneer this turn. That's okay. We'll just go ahead and station the lab ship and pass it back. This does die to the flashback K return, but the Kappa Cannoneer doesn't. I could also set up to double copy the Tezzeret ultimate next turn. Surprised you didn't register humans to challenge how fun it was yesterday. I mean, Parker Luck, we like trophied our first league. I thought, you know, I tend to like to play the better performing deck if I can. All right, this is pretty sweet. So ultimate the Tezzeret. Copy the ultimate with the camera. Copy the ultimate with the camera. Pretty cool. So up a game against Eldrazi. Honestly, like Needle and Ghost Court is kind of good against the Ice Till. Let me cut the Shadowspear. I think I'm going to keep in the Relic. Cut the Aether Spellbomb. I'm going to cut one of the Tezzerets and two of the Rebukes, I think. This is a turn 2 Saga token activation and holding up Rebuke turn 1. Definitely a keep. Probably lead on the Lavaspur Boots here since it's a bit better with the tokens. They have a Nature's Claim? Well, couldn't have played around that very well. Besides just, you know, playing the Sync turn 1, which didn't seem like an option in this hand. So now I think I'm going to lead on the Relic. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to tap the Relic. I don't have Rebuke up anymore. They command for one, sure. This does mean they don't have a land in their hand. They could put a card on the bottom and then presumably find their land. Or maybe they're just trying to get it resolved. Sorry, I was just too focused on Emrakul. Obviously shouldn't have done that. I want to play the drum. Now we can comfortably tap this. I'm going to crack this now so we could maybe draw a Consign and hit a Mycospawn trigger. Okay, let's not counter the 3/3. We got 2-0'd by Titan. Both games, I think we would have won the following turn if they didn't top deck. Okay, I think I'm going to sack the Relic into turn. It's good that we get to counter the, or exile the Ghost Quarter, but we also, of course, just have a Rebuke in hand for Ice Till anyways. Can't quite rebuke that. Kappa Cannoneer, Quantum Riddler, Thought Monitor, Thoughtcast, all really ridiculous draws here. It's nice that all of them have evasion too, so like the 3/3s don't really matter still. We do know that they have another K command, right? So we get to hold up the Rebuke for that. Definitely want to crack this main phase again because of Consign. I think I'll just hold the Sync to like bounce the Rumble back to their hand maybe. People don't recognize the fact that this art style is a fact on a lot of Magic cards. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of feels like this is a very old style of Magic card. I don't know how else to say it. They get another copy of Ghost Quarter. A lot of the Affinity builds are only on 1 basic, but we're on 3. I'm going to go ahead and bounce this to their hand. We know that they have K Command as one of their last 2 cards, and I think we need to save the Rebuke for that. One, two, three, four, five, six. Come on. Let's go to game 3. Should have more card draw. Honestly, like it would be kind of nice to play more Riddlers. It's possible that you want to move away a little bit from Tezzerets and just into the Riddlers all the way when we're this in on the Helms. Could even play like more Lavaspur Boots to like go with Quantum Riddler too. Just trying to check out the PT stream here. Still drafting. Like City playing a poker tournament. Watch Spike. Nice. Let me know how you do. I do watch a lot of poker content, although I don't play. We got the Consign. We got mana. Let's keep this. This card is okay. This is Doc Ock's Tentacles, and then Peter Parker's camera is Phenomenon Recorder. Who's your favorite poker content creator? Why is it Dick Polk? I like. Who's my favorite? Probably J-Man Poker. He just is a very good storyteller. I like Mariano a lot too. Doug Polk's fine. I like Brad Owen too. Yeah, we had a Voyager staff in an earlier draft. I decided to try not playing it this time because it didn't perform that well the first time we played it. How much time's left on the challenge here? Okay, we're going to want to tap out for the Tezzeret. This also might cut them off green mana, so I think we're going to go ahead and grab this. Stinks to draw 2 zeros right after they play the Vexing Bauble. Is it just Darksteel Citadel? I think so. And then I can untap the Darksteel Citadel with Tezzeret to cast the Kappa Cannoneer. Oh, sorry, I did see Forest on top. Yeah, I think Beans is the best deck that's ever come out of the stream. I think it's the only time we've ever just like truly broken the format. Not very easy to break the format. Is Vexing Ball like Chalice you can consign to resolve your spell? Yeah, but it's not like we're going to aggressively consign to resolve a Mishra's Bauble. But you could if you wanted to. It would be a bit better if we had like Veil of Summer instead of Consign, because then we could just resolve everything that's stuck in our hand here. Let's play Thorn of Amethyst. Honestly, Thorn of Amethyst is a card I've thought a lot about. Okay, there's a Sire of 7 Deaths, which they can cast. Can we race the Sire? It'll be fun to try to. Obviously, like with me not being able to play these, things get much more difficult. I draw a Quantum Riddler, which is a good reason to dump these. Although I think we'll do that next turn, and this turn we'll go. We go cast the Kappa Cannoneer like this. Don't move over the Giant Graft Helm. And then we just untap the Kappa Cannoneer so we get an extra counter. And then we're probably going to lose the Tezzeret to the Sire. So this is hitting them for 11 down to 9, and they're going to gain 7 up to 16. So if we could just get an artifact to play this turn, we should have lethal most of the time, unless they have something really unfortunate like an All Is Dust. Wonder if Wilds of Eldraine Beanstalk is the pairing with the lowest set relevance power, highest single impact. Maybe. I like the Wandering was also like kind of similar, where like Lord of the Rings was not a very powerful set. There was some stuff like the Cyclers, and like Bowmaster is a good card too, obviously, but there's in a big way it's like correlation was just like to answer the Wandering, which is kind of funny. We do have Shadowspear, yeah. We have both. We should have Shadowspear and Lavaspur Boots in this build. Okay, why are they attacking with... Okay, they're attacking with this because they have K returns, so let's not block. Eldraine had Cauldron too. Yeah. I think I had at least one other card. Maybe I'm misremembering. I just feel like we're forgetting a big one. What gave me the inspiration for Beans? Well, we were playing a lot with Beans and like Evoke stuff. Like it was kind of already like taking over the format some. And then I saw a couple different players playing like 2 Beans and Rhinos. And they're like, and I'm like, well, why are we playing Rhinos here? Let's just cascade into Beans. And then the deck ended up being pretty different too. We tried a lot of different builds, but it honestly wasn't the most complicated, and it was kind of going to happen anyways. But it was nice that we had that oh duh moment, you know. Oh yes, Sir Ginger. They did put 3 cards in the top here, so they could cast All Is Dust if they have All Is Dust. Oh yeah, Questing Druid. I liked Questing Druid a lot. Okay, so we have to cast all of these. Any artifact would be lethal here, but Vexing Bauble is holding the line here. Take an Emerald. I think there may be 1 short of Emrakul. So we get to draw 2. Not going to move this over. Camera for the win! With Rebuke up, because we can tap the Helm and the camera. So if they have like a K command, not that that does anything. Nice. Pioneer, the format of boring spells and broken card draw. Still drafting. So we're up against a Tron variant this time. On the draw. Slow hand, not feeling too good. Do like to see second power plant. We aren't as weak to Vexing Bauble, right? Because we just have 8 of the zeros. Who are my favorite Magic pros? I really like Reed and Gab. I would say my 1 and 2. I'm a big fan of Javier. I'm a big fan of Bingu, of course. I like Calcano is really fun to root for. I really like to root for Calcano. Arne is like maybe underrated, but Arnie's really bright and really sweet, and also incredibly fun to root for. Okay, I think we'll let the Fleshraker resolve. Let's see a lack of Dingo. I mean, I like Dingo a lot. I don't know I would consider him a Magic pro necessarily, although it's kind of arbitrary. He is a professional Magic player. Yeah, Mingu too, of course. I did say Mingu, I think. Dismember. So 3 cards left in our opponent's hand. Of course, as soon as I say we only have 8 zeros, we draw 2 zeros in a row. As it was ordained. I think we do grab the Mox Opal with the Tezzerets in our hand. And it seems like we can play this tapped. Dingo is definitely the number 1 person I'm rooting for here. Okay, we'll rebuke the second Fleshraker. And so we could have played this on top to block the Fleshraker, but it's like taking 3 damage to prevent 2 damage, so seems like it would have been wrong. They sacked the Vexing Bauble. That's good news. Unfortunately, I'm 1 artifact short of ultimating the Tezzeret and copying the ultimate with the camera. Still, I think searching for two things seems pretty good. Labship seems pretty good with the construct in play. Do I want another camera? Another camera could be good too. Let's get the other camera. Or one of the other cameras, rather. So they're drawing in Ugin's Lab. They were missing a land for last turn. Labship Opal. I think I already have an Opal in play, but I mean, it's like I think it would have been better to just not copy the ability, maybe. But we wouldn't have a fully leveled Labship anyways. So they do have 7 mana to cast like a Devourer, although that doesn't really do anything, so they imprint the Devourer here. Has Dingo qualified for a PT before? Yeah, so this is Dingo's second PT in a row. He did really bad, no offense, at his first like PT, but then he qualified for this PT during the PTQ that weekend. So he did get to immediately requeue. Was Dingo playing? I don't think he texted me back. He told me earlier this week that he's either going to play Titan or Neoform. Oh, he did text me back. He's playing Neoform. Ooh. What? Should I say what his tech is? It's open deck lists. Yeah, that's right. Deck lists aren't posted yet. Oh, wait. Dingo has... He told me he's got some tech in the sideboard. That, assuming that the card he typed was correct, it makes no sense to me. It makes literally no sense. So maybe I'm missing something, but I could be wrong that it makes no sense. It's Dingo's tech. I'll let him share it. To be fair, none of us are at the PT most likely. That's fair. I mean, I play modern every day. I've played 5 PTs. I don't understand the tech. I think that's probably a better way to say it than it's bad, right? It's better to say you don't understand. Maybe I bounce the Karn. I think we like attacking the Karn then bouncing it. Oh no, maybe this was worse because now I'm gonna have a harder time crewing the Labship. He wins the game with it. Well, yeah, the thing is, like, the reason he said the tech, which I won't say what it is, then he said the matchup that it's for. But in my mind, there's just like clearly a card that's better for the matchup. Oh, round 2 is about to start. Let's see what we draw here. We might just go to the next round of the challenge. Okay, we could play a cool game where we try to like maneuver through the card with sync, but let's just go ahead and go to round 2 of the challenge. So 2-2 in the league, scooping 1 match for time purposes. I could actually see Belcher having like an awful weekend if people are just ready for it and they're like adjusting their sideboard. Dingo's playing Neoform, which maybe I shouldn't say, but I think it's not that. It's really no info because it's an open decklist event. I think we can turn to Thought Monitor, right? Yeah, we can, and of course slap the helm on there too. I think Neoform is honestly, like, looking at the metagame, a pretty bad choice. Like I do think like all the free counter magic out of Goryo's and Belcher, it's just kind of a nightmare. At least you should be good against energy, but it seems tough. Another 5-pack from Opposite Day. Thanks so much. But like, you know, I'll say this, like, this is my impression as someone whose focus over the last months or whatever has been to brew in Modern. The process of like testing for a PT is pretty different from testing or just like exploring new brews on a kind of a surface level. So I could be totally out of base. Like there's absolutely the possibility that Dingo's team like has really identified correctly, or that they have good tech, or they feel like it's good. But I think there'll be 2 or 3 Frog X top 8. If you're counting Goryo's, then sure. But as far as like normal Frog, then I think normal Frog will see little to no play. Helm looking really good. If Dingo wins the whole thing, he's my new favorite pro. I mean, he's already my favorite, but I guess I guess so. Okay, so we're up a game against the pseudo mirror that just super duper died. Let's cut the relic. I guess we leave in the Aether Spellbomb. Do I want to bring in Needle if I think they're on plating? It seems like a little narrow. I think I'm just gonna bring in like a Dismember on the draw. Helm is a staple in Affinity. I think so too. I think so. I will say that Affinity has like literally infinite ways to build it, and I know I'm a little bit burned out on these builds. This build is more fun for whatever that's worth, but I know I got a little burned out from just how many different versions we tried during Edge of Eternities, but it does also seem like it's a pretty noble pursuit right now to try to find the best version. I guess I should put back the Riddler, right? Would you rather play an easy deck during a PT to limit mental fatigue? Not personally. Mental fatigue at big tournaments is not something I've personally struggled with very much. I know some people it affects them a lot, but I usually find big tournaments to be like noticeably easier than just streaming. If one card left, it's a Thoughtcast. Then into an Ornithopter. And also, like, this is, I think believing, I know this is a little corny, but believing in yourself at big events is important. And I recommend believing that you can play the best deck and that you can prepare and do it. I think you should go and try to win. And I think that you should try to give yourself the best chance to do that. And that's playing the best deck possible, or what you believe is the best deck, right? So if I minus the Tezzeret, then they kill it with the equip. Guess I should not let that happen. I will say that, like, as far as that perception goes, is give yourself the best chance. Mental fatigue, like, games of Magic are a lot more complicated than they used to be, at least in Modern. Like, they just are a lot more technical, and there's a lot more like little stuff and a lot more card draw. So I don't know, maybe that attitude's kind of out of date, but again, I do really recommend believing in yourself. I don't recommend like going to any event and be like, oh, I just can't play this deck because it's too hard. I guess I lose the Tezzeret, which isn't ideal. Is this the longest gap between a set and this Pro Tour ever? I think some sets have just not had Pro Tours, right? I mean, we had a long gap where there just were no Pro Tours, for whatever that's worth. Actually, mana neutral to play this. Or I guess sorry, it's not. It's -1, but with the drum and the token, it's tap 3 to go +2. That's right. You can always blame your draws. That's fair, but there's a difference between it's too hard and the best deck doesn't jive with me. Yeah, sure. Of course. Another thing too is like this maybe should go without saying, but when you're prepping for a PT, like, you know, your Twitch chat, which is very relatable, will just go, Spike, just play the best deck. But that's kind of the thing, is the best deck is just not clear, and then like everybody is trying to level each other and predict the metagame, and you have like really, like, you know, when I was testing with Channel Fireball, we had a huge internal set of data that just had like I think we had like close to 10,000 matches played between the whole team by the end, and then like I guess quite simply that data was really tough to sift through. 1, 2, 3, 4. So probably done this 5. That data was just not like very easy to like completely understand, and so I don't know. It's just a lot more complicated. All right, so we're gonna put 2 helms on our Kappa Cannoneer and slap a Shadowspear on it, and pass back. Entire companies exist to help companies interpret and use other data. Yeah, I know. That's actually what Esther does. I guess if they have Aether Spellbomb, they can bounce my Kappa Cannoneer. Okay, should be safe from that now. 14. Yeah, just mean, yeah, it is hard to sift through data for sure. It is really fun, and like there's a lot of conversations, and like people will call a meeting, and you'll be like, all right, this is what like it's very cool. It's a lot like being kind of in a company. Not that I would know a lot about that. I mean, they're dead, or they don't have lethal attack, and I should have lethal in the backswing. I first got to the modern right when Hogak was banned. Do you think it would still be a problem today? I mean, I think Hogak is one of the worst design cards in Magic's history. It's in like, we've had this conversation a lot. It's in my top 5, and it would be a problem in the sense that it is like it's kind of like a Nadu in the sense that it just has so much like why is it a hybrid cost? Why does it have Convoke and Delve? Why does it delve for as little as it does? Why does it have Trample? Why does it combo with Ashnod's Altar so well? It's like there's just so much about Hogak that is just so not okay. And they did unban Faithless Suiting again. Bridge from Below never should have been banned, but that doesn't mean Hogak should be unbanned. Just sincerely one of the least okay cards they've ever printed. I thought about doing a PowerPoint style video for others. Yeah, I've thought about doing the Hogak video. Or I guess like more so like the worst design cards in Magic, but I don't know. I try not to like let my YouTube content be so negative. I try not to let my Twitch content be so negative, but sometimes just when you're live every day, you're in a bad mood, unfortunately. They could have actually survived if they had attacked. Just gained 2 life. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like the worst design Magic cards of all time. To me, I feel like that's just not the kind of energy I want to be putting out there. But just in general, more like YouTube videos like that, I think it would be nice to do them, but it's not. It's been very tough this year, at least.